and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me. You can see here I have a mega box here, cereal box. I rescued this from the recycle bin this morning, and then my husband put it back in, and then I pulled it back out. So he did it. I didn't tell him what my plan is for it. And I'm kind of excited. It's a gloomy day, and not gonna lie, I'm a little grumpy. Just life and parenting issues. So I am going to take this box apart at the side. I guess I should speak up. And I do apologize. In the last video I kept saying that I was using my Distress Oxide rather than the color. So while it was true I was using Distress Oxide, I was using Vintage Photo. So that was in the flippy thingy video. I used Vintage Photo. I apologize for not being more clear. Okay, so I have opened this up. So what I'm going to do is I am going to collage the whole thing because I want to have some tag bases. I did fold this in half and think, oh my gosh, what a wonderful size for a journal cover. But I'm still going to collage it. I don't know where I'm going to go with it. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but I just feel the need to collage and play. So I'm not going to bore you with that process because we all know how to collage. And to be perfectly honest, if you saw my desk right now, yeah, so I'm gonna actually use this as a base to get rid of just whatever scraps are laying on my table. Don't care what color they are. That's a 6x6. I won't use that. But anyway, I don't care. If it's a glue book page, if it's yucky, I don't care. That's all texture. So all of this is going to get collaged so that I can clean up these scraps and try to find my desk. So I'm gonna get my glue, my brush, and I'm gonna get started, and then I'll come back in just a little bit and show you what I'm doing. Okay, so I just have some matte Mod Podge here, and I literally just have an enormous pile of scraps that I was just reaching from wherever, and some are super tiny, some are, that's already acrylic, this is just from mail. So whatever, big, small, indifferent, I'm just gonna start gluing, laying it down. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just gonna do it. So I'll come back in just a little bit and we'll see what I have. Thanks. Okay, so I just have some matte Mod Podge here, and I literally just have an enormous pile of scraps that I was just reaching from wherever, and some are super tiny, some are, that's already acrylic, this is just from mail. So whatever, big, small, indifferent, I'm just gonna start gluing, laying it down. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just gonna do it. So I'll come back in just a little bit and we'll see what I have. Thanks. Okay, so in the time it took me to listen to about a song and a half and some auto insurance commercials, I have half of the mega side collaged. So I'm just gonna keep going and work on the other side, and then I'm gonna take my heat tool to it and make sure it's good and dry before we move on to the next thing that I think I'm gonna do. So that's that. I just wanted to show you. Super wet, not dry, bubbly, don't care. A lot of texture is gonna be on this. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we'll see what this turns out to be. I have no idea. So we'll be back. Okay, so both sides are collaged, and now what I want to do is I'm going to take some white layers of napkin and just glue them all over for more added texture. So my first side is actually starting to dry, but I don't want it to completely dry. I want to get this on here. That's a piece of fabric that I got glue on. So I just want to get this on here, and as you can see, I just randomly glued stuff on here. I mean, it's just a base. I just want that texture. I love the texture, and that's what I'm just gonna keep building today, in between loads of laundry and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm purposely not trying to get that on there straight, okay? Although this, I don't want that hard edge on this one. Okay, it's fine, because whatever. Now that might be a little too much, but it'll be all right. It will be okay, because if I don't like the texture, I can always sand it off. So there's that. So don't think just because it didn't lay down the way you want it to, that's okay. You can totally take, once it's dry, you can take a piece of sandpaper or just something rough. Or if you don't have sandpaper and you have a gravel driveway, go take it outside and run a handful of gravel over it. I hope you can see, I don't think you can, but because this is so big, this piece that I'm working with, I'm having a hard time trying to work on it and not get glue everywhere. I mean, as much as possible, not get it everywhere. And this actually is an attempt to try to clean up my table a little bit, but you know, it's a mess. It is a mess. Like, it's literally gonna avalanche. I think I say that all the time. So the other day I was working outside and I was gonna try to coffee dye. And I said to hubby, I said, hey, do you think it's too windy? He's like, what wind? And I'm like, okay. So I come upstairs and I get everything ready. Go outside, I brew a pot of coffee. Go outside, get everything laid out. I start to spray my pages with coffee, and lo and behold, the papers start blowing everywhere. I mean, they were going everywhere. And so then I'm trying to gather them all up and get them in the house, and then I don't know what to do with them because they're wet. And I was working outside, so I just left them in a stack until later. I'm like, well, they'll be okay until I come in, as long as I don't like try to leave them overnight or whatever. So I didn't leave them overnight and got them dried, but then I still had the coffee in the spray bottle that I was using. So this morning I did coffee dye a little bit of paper. I was trying to get designs. I have this really cool vinyl tablecloth that I had bought for coffee dyeing at a yard sale. And I didn't pay much for it, but I thought, oh, it's got this cool like pineapple pattern. And so I was hoping that I would be able to get the pattern in the papers, but I'm just not getting a good clear pattern. So I don't really know what I'm doing wrong. I need to find a video, I guess, on doing that because, oh, there's a big chunk. What is that? Glue, probably from my finger. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I need to find a video for coffee dyeing like that because I love the patterns in the paper. And I just know I'm either rushing it or I'm leaving it too long on there because it's just not coming out in as clear as I would like it to. So that's a little frustrating, but I'm just wadding this napkin up because I had it all smooth and pretty in my little, I keep these layers when I'm like separating them because I use them for, you know, wiping my hands or for this, or even you can wrap, you know, if you're sending Happy Mail to somebody, you could certainly embellish with it or wrap your package with it like tissue paper. You can stamp on it, take your archival ink and stamp images on it. And then you'll have images that you can decoupage to your tags or your pages or whatever. So they're pretty versatile. I mean, the napkins are good for more than just the decorative layer. So that's kind of fun. I have air under there. Let's get it out. You can see I'm just being really, really sloppy with this, right? So anyway, so yeah, what was I saying? I have very little memory retention today. I got this pretty goobered up right here, so I don't think you can see that, but yeah, right in here it's pretty goobered. So I'm just gonna do this with it. And then I have to go fold a load of laundry, so I'll let this set for a minute. Mod Podge dries fairly well, and I'll turn my ceiling fan on once I close up my glue, and then that'll help it as well. And I don't care if it's completely dry for the next layer. So anyway, so this is fun. And honestly, I've only been up here doing this. Literally, it's been like maybe a half an hour. I was just not overthinking it. I was just gluing stuff down. So that was really kind of therapeutic. I'm not as grumpy as I was. So there's that. Yay. So I don't know, does doing something like this make you feel better? Does it make you feel like happier on some level when you do stuff like this? I know that for me, I just don't have to think about it. And that's what I need right now, is something that I really don't have to think about. So, okay, I'm being too rough with it. See, that's what's happening. I'm being too rough, and I'm just pulling my napkin right back up. So, I'm stopping there. Okay, I'm closing up my glue. I'm going to put my brush in a bag. Actually, it's gonna be a glove, plastic glove, because that's what I have. And keep my paintbrush wet. I'm gonna let this dry for a little while, go do my laundry, and I'll be back for the next layer. Okay, so went down and folded what was in the dryer and was going to swap what was in the washer. But guess who didn't start the washing machine? Me. Oops. So I have to go back down and do that in a little bit. But the good thing is that I had perfect timing, because the washing machine, or I'm sorry, the washing machine, the dryer was like 4 minutes till done. So how cool was that? All right. Well, I do not like that color. All right, this is an antiquing medium for an instant age look. And I think I've used this before, but not in this capacity. That's not the right word, but that's okay. We're just gonna go over it and smear it around and see what happens. Why am I using that? I should be using a baby wipe. Told you guys, my brain is like, I don't even know where today. Well, I do know where, but anyway, that's why I'm trying to do something that's mindless, right? That was the intent anyway. So, how is everybody? What are you up to? What are you working on? What's on your table? And I gotta tell you, this is absolutely not what I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm doing it right now anyway. I need it. You know, sometimes you just have to take a break for your own mental health in order to take care of those around you. And today, I just need that break. And I haven't filmed for a few days. I mean, what did I do the other day? Oh, I did the flippy thingy for Bernice the other night. But that was like after dinner, and I said, you know, let me go film this. And they were like, okay. So anyway, I came up and did that. But I haven't even been in here. It's been nice out. It's been really nice out. And yesterday I was gone most of the day. I had a medical or an appointment, and then I had to go to Costco, so that takes most of my day, because Costco's in Cleveland, and that's quite a drive for us, but that is the closest one other than Toronto. But you know, by the time I drove to Toronto and came back, that would be a little challenging. But since it's just across the lake, the store finder is like, hey, there's one like 30 miles from you. And I'm like, yeah, but it would take me all day to get there and back by the time I drove around the lake. So I just think it's funny how that works. Clearly, the store finder doesn't realize that the Great Lake is right in between us. So even though I'm not crazy about this color, just for consistency, I'm doing the other side as well. I just taken a wet baby wipe and making it really gross looking. So I had seen, I want to say Gail used this, but maybe she had used it like on brown packaging, and I thought, oh, that looks so cool. I have to have that antiquing medium. And now that I'm using it, honestly, I don't really see a big difference in how it's behaving than just using paint. So, and they're both nutmeg, so yeah, I don't know. That's kind of, not sure that I think it's anything special, but I'll use it because I have it. Okay, so I'm gonna dry this real quick with my heat tool, which I don't want to do because that's going to be really loud right here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I dried that. So now what I think I want to do, that is like wet under there. So I'm going to have to, once I get my stuff done, set this on the furnace vent for a little while and just let it dry. What I do like about this kind of a project, and if you haven't done it, like, don't be intimidated, just do it. So I'm just taking a spent gift card here, and this is just a matte black acrylic, and I'm just gonna, I know that a lot of people like use this technique with the cards, and I feel like if you get like this blob here, it's just a bit much, but I really just wanted to kind of take that black across the top and have it like more veiny. So just gonna kind of get that in there a little bit maybe. Oh, that's kind of coming out cool. So anyway, you just play with it like till you're happy with it. There's no rules. And remember, you're creating to make yourself happy. See what you come up with. And like, I don't know, I may make a journal out of this. I may just use it for tag bases. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do with it. But as I'm rubbing that black in and that's blending with that brown, I am actually liking that. So I hope that's coming through on the camera, because it's actually a really cool color and I'm liking it. I didn't think I was going to. I have this green here, which is a really kind of a vibrant green, but when you mix that with that brown, you get a really nice olive color. So I was thinking that I might do a little bit of that as well on here and see if we can't just kind of get like an earth tone to this, and see like what we can come up with as far as that goes. Okay, again, practice on this technique, I guess. It's not one that I use very often, and a lot of times I end up doing this when I try it, just because I just don't end up being very happy with the result. But that's okay, because when I end up doing this, I end up loving it. And sometimes that's what it's about. Just kind of blending these colors in. And I like how that brown and that black is working together. Love it. It's really given me some cool texture, cool colors. Very earthy in tone, so I'm really digging that. So I'm going to dry that black, and I will be back in just a second. Okay, so that's dry-ish. And so what I want to do is mix up my paint for the olive color. So that's kind of like, it's not really fickle. I don't want to say it's fickle. It's just a matter of color palette. So let's move this over for a minute, and I'm just going to use this side here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of brown. Must have been an air bubble in that. And this paint is ancient. Like, I've had it forever. And it's a satin finish where the brown is a matte finish, but I don't care. So my poor paintbrush, look at that, it's full of glue. I'm just gonna blend this until I get kind of the color that I want. And actually, I think I put a dot of black in it last time too. It's hard to recreate a color when I just did it on accident, and then I was like, oh, that's a cool color. And it was a beautiful color. It actually ended up being the cover of a Christmas journal that I made for my friend. The olive was just such a beautiful color. And anyway, so I used it for a Christmas journal for her. Now that's looking a little too, just a little too dark, but not, I mean, I only want to just barely lighten that up. And this is just playing. I mean, I am not by any means a color expert. I couldn't tell you what most of the prime colors are, and I can tell you kind of basically what colors make what, but generally speaking, I'm just not a color expert. I just play. And the thing about this is that if I don't like it, I'll just either black gesso over the whole thing or white gesso over it, or paint it or whatever, and just completely undo the whole thing. So I'm really not that worried about it. It's because it really is just about playing. I do not know. Oh, see, my paintbrush is coming apart. I soaked it trying to get the matte medium out of it, and it didn't work. So I don't care about the stuff that's underneath that's still coming through, because that's still texture and I really like it. So I'm digging that. All right, get a new wipe. Because I want to move that around a little bit, blend that in some, see what we come up with. This could be quite summery, actually. I mean, it's earthy and just has really great color and texture, and I like it. And a little bit of that black is showing through, and what I may do is just kind of go back over that again. And then when I'm all done with color and texture or whatever, what I want to do is I will seal it with matte medium. That way it's sealed. Yeah, sorry, I'm umming a lot. I apologize. I don't mean to be doing that. Oh, it is raining here, which is amazing. We really need the rain. When we were working in the yard the other day, I said, I'm not ready to start having to water everything. And in the summer, we have a sump pump for the basement. And in the summer, we redirect that water from just going out in the yard to catching it, to use it. Especially in the spring when there's a lot of rain and stuff. It's a great natural resource because it's clean water. It's just seepage in the basement. And so anyway, oh no, I'm just a little short, but I don't want to mix another, because if I mix, it's not going to be the same color. So let's see if we can get enough. I think so. I know you can't see that, can you? Sorry. But anyway, and so we had redirected the water out of the basement into, we bought a big like watering tub, a livestock watering tub. And so we have a valve in the basement that we can just switch over when it's time to catch it. And it helps to repurpose that water. I mean, it goes out into the yard anyway, but if we can use it, why not? Like I said, it's spring water that's coming in the basement. And so Hubby got that redirected the other day, and there's like very little in it, but I mean, I guess something's better than nothing. Look at the color on that. That's pretty cool. I think I'll let that dry. I have another one, or did I finally get rid of it? No, I have another one here from another cover that I was making, and it's so vibrant and pretty, but I don't know what to do with it. But I'm sure I can use it for something. So I've kept it. Silly, I know. So I'll hang that over the bag. I'm gonna let this dry and now think about lightening it back up a little bit. Maybe a little bit of gesso, or oh, I could put a little bit of gesso and crinkle up some parchment and maybe dab that on there. So let me get some parchment and let this dry. I'll be back. Okay, I'm cracking up, guys. I just was like, what is on my cheek? I somehow got Mod Podge on my cheek. Oh, anyway. So I've been, oh, that's a lot. This is just what's on the lid of my container from picking it up. While I'm in between doing this, I'm trying to listen to an Artie Mays Junk in the Trunk video, and it's like 2 years old. I love this series, and I get so inspired by her mixed media and how beautiful her stuff comes out. I just love her style. It's vintagey and it's just so pretty. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And there's some other big YouTubers that I watch. Like sometimes I watch Gail, but and I like seeing how she creates things, but they're just so different in techniques, and I really just like Artie Mays, and she cracks me up. She's kind of quirky, but her style is just fantastic. I love it. And so anyway, I'm trying to watch the Junk in the Trunk series. I have the playlist saved, and honestly, I not watched it in quite a while, but because I'm trying to use what I have, stop gathering things like a mega cereal box out of the recycle box this morning. Shh, don't tell. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Once it's done, it'll be so cool, I think. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm trying to use what I have, and I'm still trying to think of projects that I can take small space this summer, and I'm so worried about like not having a supply or something. And even like with food and all of that, I told my husband, I said, oh my gosh, what if I forget something? I was cooking and I said, what if, like cornstarch, what if I forget cornstarch? And he says, honey, there's grocery stores, it's gonna be fine, stop worrying. But that's what I do, I worry. So he's so cute. He's like, it's gonna be fine, don't worry about it. So I'm not gonna worry about it. Or I'm trying not to worry about it anyway. And I'm trying not to worry about my craft supplies either, but I want to make sure that I have stuff to keep me busy. And I mean, especially on travel days and stuff like that. And of course, I'll take some books to read, and I'm super excited about that. Right now, I'm reading Healing the Soul of a Woman by Joyce Meyer, and it's pretty good. Makes you think. It's a faith-based book, and it's overcoming obstacles and, you know, hurts and stuff like that. And I don't generally write in books, but because somebody gave it to me and it was already written in, or underlined, I should say, for what that person thought was important, I decided I'm going to allow myself to write in it. And that in and of itself was kind of freeing. It's like breaking through this taboo thing, you know. I guess it's kind of like when you first start tearing the books apart to make your journal stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so wrong, but it's kind of liberating. And I was listening to a YouTuber and a YouTube video, and I don't know who it was, and it's been a few weeks ago, and it wasn't somebody that I normally listen to. I liked the picture and I was like, oh, what's she doing? Anyway, but she said for her, and I thought this was just really great, for her, when she was younger, she was always in trouble for tearing pages out of books and sticking them on her wall. So if it was something she liked, she would just, you know, tear it out of the book, stick it on her wall, so that way she could enjoy it, because why should it be just stuck in a book on the shelf when she wanted to look at it? And I thought, well, that's really kind of a cool explanation. So anyway, and I thought, you know what, it's true. And a lot of the times the books I'm using are things that I've picked up at a yard sale or a thrift store or, you know, whatever. And in a sense, we really are giving these things new life by using them in our journals. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a really great way to kind of talk about it. I'm throwing that paintbrush. It's going in the trash. Thought it was just a really great way to talk about it. And it was just interesting, like her take on it. And I just thought I would pass that along, because what if, you know, taking the books apart hurts your heart? Now, I'm not saying, like me, I have a collectible edition of Watership Down that was a gift from my mother. There is no way on God's green earth I'm going to take that book apart. That's a treasure to me. So, you know, I'm not saying go and find a treasure and take that apart. Unless, you know, it's a duplicate of something you love and you're taking it apart to use it or something. That's, you know, but to each their own. And if you've got a collectible and you want to take it apart and that's what makes you happy, well, then you just go right on ahead. I see people in this, one of the Facebook groups I'm in, a journaling group, and I found this book, and, you know, and I don't know what to do, if I should take it apart or not take it apart. And it's always interesting to me reading the comments, what people say, like, no, don't take it apart. And then some people are like, you know, look it up online and see what the value is. And to some extent, yes, like I have a sewing book that I found at a thrift shop for $2, and I looked it up on eBay, and it was going for $160 on eBay. So with that one, yeah, I haven't torn that apart or done anything with it. And actually, when I had posted on a journaling group that I had found this book, a couple ladies were like, I'll buy it from you, but I didn't list it. And I may, I may, because I don't have the heart to take it apart and use it, because it's a beautiful sewing book. It's got little doll patterns in it. It's like a teach you how to sew book. I am really liking how this is kind of coming together. Anyway, it's kind of like a teach you how to sew book and stuff, but it's pretty cool, and I really like it. So I didn't want to, I don't have the heart to take it apart. It's too pretty. But I do want to do a sewing journal at some point, just not with that particular book. That's just kind of a treasure I think I'll hold on to, because I don't think that book is actually ever going to lose value simply based on what it is. And I think it's a rarity. It's a rare book, because when I did look it up, I only found one online. And so usually if a book is, you know, kind of popular, you'll see more than one online. Okay. I'm thinking, I don't know what I want to do with this now. I have all this great texture. And I actually like this side too, because some text is showing through. So I think I'm going to go cut this down. And I am going to cut this into journal cover sizes, because I think, oh yeah, it's plenty big. So I can get 9 inches out of that side, I think, or even 8.5 or 8 or 7. I could make a 5x7 all day long with this. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go cut it down. I'll be back. Okay, so what I've done is I've cut it down to suit a 9x12 journal. So, or 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. So what we want to do is determine what's going to be the front and what's going to be the back. So I think this is going to be the front. There is a little bit of a spot there where the, when I cut it, this isn't quite dry all the way through. So it's a repair job I'll have to do, but that's why we have lace and doilies and all those things. So what I did was I went and looked really quickly at my paper pads to see what I had that I thought would complement this. And I think that this paper actually will complement this very well. And so I'm going to do this as a very simple journal with mostly just coffee dye papers, and we will embellish the front. So I'm going to cut this at the 9 inches and get this glued down, and then it's going to go sit on the heat register so that it can dry all the way through. I don't want to have anything else happen with it. And actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cut this 5 3/4 by 9, and I will tell you why in just a minute. Now look, I'm making more scraps. The whole point of this is taking some scraps. I should have cut this one. I should have cut the whole thing at 9 first. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it's okay. It's all good. All good. What did I do? It's okay. We'll just put a pocket on it, right? You will just put a pocket on it. All right. Just gonna take my Mod Podge here and get this glued. Maybe I should have gessoed that first because that's going to be absorbent, but hopefully it'll be okay. Look what I did. Who knows? It's okay. And I'm not inking this first. And I have a plan with that center being open. Oh, you know what I could do? Slide down. Okay. It's gonna be just fine. Just fine. So, anyway, yay, this is exciting. I wasn't planning on doing this. Okay, so I need, what are the tools that you are saying you must have if you are going to be away from home and you need to work on a project? I know I keep asking this. I'm asking in different forums because I need help. I need to know. So help me out. Let me know what you think. Okay. Now when this gets folded and we sew in our signature, this will have fabric over it or something that will hide that spine. And it's going to be just fine. So just want to make sure that that is no air bubbles, lots of glue all the way to the edges. Burnish it really well. See, that doesn't have the glue there. So let's see if we can. This is where art glitter glue might help. Okay. I don't want that on top of the paper there, but I do want that edge really glued down nicely. Same with this side. Okay, well, and I will probably stitch this when I'm done. And remember, it's gonna have another layer across there too when that spine goes in. But yeah, lots of glue now. It's gonna be just fine. It's going to be perfect. Let's not worry about it. Okay. Okay. Now we have the beginnings of a cover made from recycled materials. It's going to be fun. And I did this down a little lower because I'm actually going to chop that off. Rather than trying to figure out how to cover that, I'm just going to make the journal a little smaller. And that's okay. And maybe we'll just cut this down to a TN size. If I had done that, I probably could have gotten 3. So maybe I'll do that with the other one. I mean, yeah. No. Never mind. Okay, so I'm gonna go put this on the heater for a while, and then what I'll probably do is put it under a heavy book. So that is our cover. Okay, Let's make sure that's nice and flat. I don't want the buckles on the inside. I do like texture, but I would prefer not to have that on the inside here. I want that nice and smooth. And it did that when I stuck that glue down in there. So let's get those air bubbles out so we have a really nice seal on that glue, okay? All right, so that's that. I'm gonna let it dry and then we'll come back and see what we've got. Okay, so that is drying. I set it aside. I got a seal of the matte medium. It is drying. So I'm gonna end this video here and I'm going to start filming the next video where I think I'm gonna make a topper for that cover. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.